Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on YouTube. We'll be joining the Oldies and More radio network at midnight tonight, so thank you all for joining Johnny G on the February 26, 2022 Vinyl Treasure Show. It's the last show for February. We're moving right through the year already Monday's the last day. Johnny G getting closer to retirement, which is now going to be May 6th. That is my official last day, but I'll be taking vacation days prior to that and kind of worked it out. I think that's the way it's going to go down, but then I will be fully retired by then. And you will get more of Johnny G. So welcome to the show this evening. We opened up with an instrumental by Big John Greer. Big John Greer, mostly known for his R&B vocals for RCA and King Records, but he also played tenor saxophone that he did on that 45. A release on Sid Nathan's King record label, his fourth on King, a song he co-wrote. It was called Duck Walk from May 1957. Big John Greer, our opener on the King label with the Duck Walk, with Johnny G taking a duck walk to the vocal portion of the Vinyl Treasure Show. And let's open up with a great two-sided classic 45 out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I never, ever, ever get tired of either side of this record. And I'm featuring it on the first press on Jerry Herman's Note record label, the first of two for this group called The Students. Features Leroy King on lead. We go back to July 1958 for the first press on the Note label. Give a listen to The Students and their tune called Every Day of the Week. Yeah, we open up the vocal portion there from July 1958. Leroy King and the Students, that one there on the Note record label, Every Day of the Week, a great two-sided 45, I'm So Young. The flip side of that 45, of course, later on picked up by Checker Records. And I think in 1961 the record charted again where you were able to purchase it on Argo Records, subsidiary of Checker Records. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We spin original vinyl 45s. We do it chronologically here, but we get 2 up-tempos in before we start off the chronological part. And on last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for listener Timothy, who was in our YouTube chat room. He requested a group called the Five Delights. Their group out of the Bronx, New York. It was their debut single. First came out on the Newport record label. You also may own it on Unart Records, but the side I played was called Elvino Goodbye. That featured Ed Jordan on lead. I think it was listener Daryl Letts requested the cool up-tempo flip side. It was written by group member Douglas Ferrier, Ferrer, and he's also the lead singer on this. This one from June 1958. It's going out to Daryl. The Five Delights on the Newport label. It's called Okie Dokie Mama.
Okie dokie mama, mama. Okie dokie mama, my mama. Okie dokie mama, won't you come over with me? Okie dokie mama, oh you're such a tease. Okie dokie mama, let me squeeze you please. Okie dokie mama, now that you are mine. Okie dokie mama, all is okie dokie fine. Well, okie dokie mama, let me kiss your lips. Okie dokie mama, my heart goes around and flips. Okie dokie mama, oh you're such a treat. Okie dokie mama, you're like candy, you're so sweet. Okie dokie mama, yeah. Okie dokie mama, now little okie dokie mama, my okie dokie mama. Okie dokie mama, oh you're such a treat. Okie dokie mama, you're like candy, you're so sweet. Okie dokie mama, when I kiss your lips. Okie dokie mama, my heart goes around the flips. Okie dokie mama, you're my okie dokie mama, whoa mama.
They're called the Five Delights. Five Delights there. It's going out to Daryl Letts. Okie Dokie Mama. That one there from June 1958. That's on the Newport record label. Also came out on the Unart label, so many of you collectors out there might have it on Unart Records, but this group later on recorded as the Mood Makers. They'll be coming up later on in the show. And you know, we count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition. Now, last week, lots of flip sides from last week, by the way. Now, last week I featured the Harptones. The Harptones, they're 6 of 8 on Monty Bruce's Bruce record label, played the B-side. It was called, I think that was the B-side, Oobity Oobity Ooh. And the flip side is a nice rendition of a standard going back to 1947. I think that was requested by George, Nick, and Daryl. And of course, Lenny Welch had a big hit in 1963 on the Cadence label with the song. But I love this version. It features Willie Winfield on lead. We go back to November of 1954 for the Harptones. The Harptones on Monty Bruce's Bruce record label for Daryl, Nick, and George. Their rendition of the tune, Since I Fell for You.
You are gone and left me all alone. You took my love and made me leave my home. Well,
my happy home. You took my love and now you're gone. Since I fell for you, love brings such misery and pain. I guess I'll never be the same since I fell for you. Well, it's too bad and it's too sad that I'm in love with you. You love me, then you snub me, but what can I do? I'm still in love with you. Well, I guess I'll never see the light. I get those blues most every night since I fell for you.
Those are the Harptones. Harptones out of Harlem, New York. A classic there with that standard tune there, Since I Fell for You, November 1954. Willie Winfield on lead. That one there going out to Daryl, Nick, and George. Brian, that is Norm's nice, clean copy of that 45. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We are in the year 1954. We go back to, I mentioned, I didn't say Indianapolis, Indiana, because that label, Note Records, was out of Indianapolis, Indiana, even though the students were out of Cincinnati, but this group is out of Indianapolis, Indiana. It's on Randy Wood's Dot Record label. Dot Records at the time out of Gallatin, Tennessee. This group is called The Counts. They had 8 releases on the Dot Record label. This is a request for listener Emnon. He requested their third of 8. It's actually a flip side. The A-side called My Dear, My Darling. Well, let's flip it over for Emnon from July 1954. Chester Brown on lead. These are The Counts on the Dot label. It's called She Won't Say Yes. It's for Emnon.
She won't say yes, she won't say no, she won't say something. Oh, make me mad, I make me glad, she won't say nothing. That's my baby, yes sir, that's my gal. I asked my baby, could she? She said she thought she could. Oh, when I asked my baby, would she? She said, tell me, do you think I should? Well, she won't say yes, she won't say no, she won't say something to make me mad or make me glad. She won't say nothing. Night after night I wonder, what can the matter be? God knows I love that woman, but how can she love me when she won't say yes, she won't say no, she won't say something to make me mad or make me glad? She won't say nothing. Oh, talk to me, baby. Oh, baby, talk to me, say something. Baby, don't be a drag, please. Say something to me. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, please, say something. Baby, why don't you talk?
Those that ended kind of funky. Those are the Counts. They're the Counts on Randy Wood's Dot record label. That's by request for listener M on July 1954. Chester Brown and the Counts with She Won't Say Yes. Well, we won't go into that. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and up next, another great group out of Harlem, New York. This is their second release on High Weiss's Old Town record label. It's a request for listener Daniel Kubacki, and it features the great Herman Curtis on lead. This one from June 1954. I'm talking about the Solitaires. The Solitaires on the Old Town record label. It's called Please Remember My Heart. This is for Daryl. No, this is for Daniel.
Remember my heart. Oh, well, darling, you're an angel. You're everything to me. Sorry, my darling, I couldn't see. Please give me one more chance. Let me come back and stay. I'd swim the deepest ocean to be by your side. Well, I'm sorry, Lord, I couldn't try. Please give me one more chance. Please remember my heart. Remember my heart. No, many a times I was doubtful. Knew of this new love affair. Let my love be near you again, my darling. Well, I love you so. Well, I do. Well, I do. Believe in you. Won't you come back and give me one more chance? Please remember my heart. No, please remember my heart.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki, those are the great Solitaires. Solitaires with Herman Curtis, a.k.a. Herman Dunham, whichever one. He used both names. I think he used them both at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong, but I know he went by either name. That one there from June 1954. The Solitaires on Old Town, Please Remember My Heart. And of course, the other lead singer for this group was Milton Love. Now, the copy that I played is the oddball press. That Please Remember My Heart is number 1006, and the South of the Border, the flip side, is number 1007. I don't know, what is the regular number for that? Is it 006 or 007? I I forget, but they first came out that way, then they corrected it. They did, but they're always great to hear the Solitaires here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Let's continue now. We move into 1955. Now, last week I played a request for George Tompkins. I played the Rhythm Aces out of Chicago on the VJ record label, their second of three. It was called Whisper to Me. And I think it might have been George and Daryl that asked for the flip side. The flip side is a jump. They're second of three on Vivian Carter's VJ record label. His name is Billy Stewart. Billy Stewart, he's the lead singer. This is from May 55, the Rhythm Aces on VJ. It's called Ollie Ollie, is it Otzen Tree? Did I say it right?
Ollie, Ollie, Oxen free. Oh, baby, won't you come along and play with me? Da da da, under the apple tree. Da da da, zoop. Ah, Ollie, Ollie, Oxen free. Oh, you and the girl for me. Baby, count 1, 2, 3. Da da da, zoop. Ah, let the game of hide and seek. We can have fun. I'll find you behind a tree. Steal a kiss and run. Ollie, Ollie, Oxen free. Baby, no one but you and me. Oh, kissing behind the tree. Da da zoop. 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 Ollie, Ollie, Oxen free. Oh, baby, won't you come along and play with me? Da da da, under the apple tree. Da da da, zoop. Ah, Ollie, Ollie, Oxen free. Oh, you and the girl for me. Baby, count 1, 2, 3. Da da zoop. Ah, it's just a game of hide and seek. We can have fun. I'll find you behind the tree. Steal a kiss and run. Ollie, Ollie, Oxen free. Oh, no one but you and me. Baby, kissing behind the tree. Da-da, zoop. Come play with me. Under the apple tree, it will be Ollie, Ollie, Oxen free.
That's May 1955 release there. VJ Records out of Chicago. Those are the Rhythm Aces. They're second of three on VJ Records. Ollie Ollie Austin Free is the name of the tune. I wish the records were for free. DJ copies were supposed to be given out by the radio stations for free, but now collectors have to pay for them. Figure that out as we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. We are in the year 1955. Let's go to this group out of Cleveland, Ohio, and it was Alan Freed who they approached to get them started. They brought them over to Chess Records, where they had they cut 245s for Chess Records. Then they signed with Groove Records. Now, this is a request for listener Joe Shacatano in our YouTube chat room tonight. So, Joe, feeling better and no computer problems. We welcome Joe back to the chat room. And they signed with Groove Records for 2 releases. Joe requested their second. It was written by the lead singer. His name is Sammy Griggs. We go back to July 1955. Give a listen to the Coronets. The Coronets on Groove Records. It's called Hush for Joe. Johnny G messing up tonight.
Please, doll, don't cry.
Hush, my darling, don't you cry. Please forget that we ever quarreled. Please don't say goodbye. Say that you love me, and whatever you do, please remember as time goes by, I'll love only you. The teardrops you shed, dear, washed away my foolish pride. I confess that I love you, and I want you by my side. So hush, my darling, your teardrops bring pain. I still love you, and I promise, dear, it will never happen again. No, never happen
That's the second of two for the Coronets by request. For Joe Shacatano, it's on Groove Records. Second of two on Groove from July 1955. The Coronets, Sammy Griggs on lead, a song entitled Hush. As we hush on to the next 45 here. Now, we just recently lost the lead singer of this next group out of New Haven, Connecticut on my January 15th, 2000. Was it January 15th or was it October? No, was January 15th, 2022. I paid tribute to him. That was my tribute show, and I played the B-side to their third release on the Red Robin record label. It was called Cry Baby. Let's give a spin to the A-side, a song he co-wrote with the first tenor of the group, Sylvester Hopkins. And here are the Scarlets. The late Fred Paris on lead, the Scarlets from February 1955, Red Robin Records, and their tune called True Love.
I vow my I would love you. I pray that you would see I love you all so madly, darling, from now to eternity. Ooh, you're not dead to me. Just the thought of you is very dear to me. I needed someone to tell my troubles to tell my troubles
Those are the Scarlets. The Scarlets with the late Fred Paris on lead. That one there on Bobby and Danny Robinson's Red Robin record label, the Scarlets. That is their, what did I say? That was their third release on Red Robin, February 1955. True Love is the name of that one. True original 45s every Saturday right here on YouTube and Oldies and More Radio by your host, Johnny G. And speaking of 45s, it's a rare record here for this group out of Norfolk, Virginia. Started out, well, they weren't recording, but they started out as the Five Pearls, but when they approached label owner Frank Guida, they changed their name to the Sheiks, and Guida set up a recording session at the local radio station, I think WTAR. That was the radio station where they recorded both sides of this 45, and Frank Guida put it out on his FND record label, EF-N-DE label. It's funny, on the label you might have seen the letter F and then D, which I thought was kind of cool that he put that on the label. But anyway, it features Kenneth Kimball on lead. Let's go back to January 1955. These are the Sheiks. They went from they didn't record as the Five Pearls, but they did record as the Sheiks. This is on F&D Records. It's called Give Me Another Chance.
Last night I realized anymore. What have you done to make me feel so sad? Darling, I dream of you. What have you done to make me dream this way? Well, you know I love you.
Those are the Sheiks on Frank Guida's F&D record label out of Norfolk, Virginia, January 55 release. Give Me Another Chance is the name of that one. Kenneth Kimball, he's the lead singer on this. Now, Guida gets writer credits on this using his name spelled backwards. So I'll show it to you, those of you watching Johnny G on the YouTube. It's spelled A-D-I-U-G. Being, I guess, maybe to try to hide some royalty payments possibly. But they would have another release on the Cat label in March 55. He brought the group to New York City to record. Then in the early 60s, they returned to Legrand Records with 2 releases. They also backed up Gary U.S. Bonds, also covered this song on the Lee Grand record label also. I think they backed him up on that. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We move into 1956 now with another flip side from last week as I featured the Elvinos, a group out of Penn Hills, Pennsylvania. Was a request for listener Daniel Kubacki. He requested Geraldine. Now was listener Darrell Letts, George Tompkins, and Nick Nicola requested the Cool Flip Side, which is actually a duet. It's a duet by Leon Daniels and Anna Mae Jackson, who, by the way, would later record as Ann Keith on the Memo label. She does a nice rendition of the female version of A Lonely Boy. She calls it Lonely Girl, and the flip side's a great cover of the Clickettes, I think Lover's Prayer, two-sided. I actually have it pulled to play sometime in the future. But this charted number 5 on WILY in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Both sides of this record charted on that chart. September 1956, going out to Darrell, George, and Nick, the Elvinos on Groove. It's called Now We're Together.
Dum-ba-da-da-papa doo.
I love you. Oh, oh, yes, I do. Oh, 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 my heart. Oh, oh.
Dum-ba-da-da-papa doo.
Now we're together, now we have a start. I feel so good now that we're not apart. Glad that we're married, glad that we're together.
Once I had down on your desire, but since you came, you set my soul afire. Glad that we're married, glad that we're together.
I'll hold you in my arms with all your many charms. Your lips will be tender. That moment I'll ever remember.
Love is just what I feel. When I'm with you, I have to feel. Glad that we're married, glad that we're together.
I'll hold you in my arms with all your many charms. Your lips will be tender. That moment I'll ever remember. All I know is just what I feel. When I'm with you, I have such a chill. Glad that we're married, glad that we're together.
I love you. Oh, oh, yes, I do. Oh, 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 my heart. Oh, 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 my heart.
That's the great sound of the Elvinos there. That one there on Groove Records, the RCA subsidiary. September 1956, the Elvinos with Now We're Together. Now we're together every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. here on the Vinyltreasure Show. If you're new to the program, please subscribe to my YouTube link there on the YouTube page. Click the bell to get notifications of when I go live, and I'll be back on the air on Monday evening from 8 to 11 o'clock. I do like a 60s soul show, so if you like soul 45s, you want to tune into that show. Also on Oldies and More Radio. And I am going to move the show up earlier, probably an hour earlier, but it's going to happen after I officially retire, which my final date, and I think I worked it out with my manager, is going to be May 6th. That Friday, but I'll be off 2 weeks prior to that because they want me to use my vacation days at the end of the time, I guess. They got some stuff they want, and I decided I would help them. I didn't want to leave them high and dry because I guess they would call it a power worker for them. So that's leaving a big void there that they need to fill. Not that easy to fill JohnnyG's shoes, and I have a size 14 too, so that's pretty big. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we are in 1956. Now, in last week's show, I played a request for Robert in California. He requested the Pipes, a group out of Oakland, California, and their debut single on Dootsy Williams' Dutone label. A great tune. It was called Be Fair. And listener Daniel Kubacki requested their follow-up as well, written by the lead singer Huey Roundtree. This one from July 56. Let's give a listen to the Pipes. This is on the Dutone record label, going out to Daniel. It's called You Are an Angel.
You are an angel from heaven above, and you are the angel I'll forever love. I'll forever love you. I'll always be true. God gave me this angel with the promise that I'll do my best to love you. I'll do my best to be true. I'll do my best to please you. What else is there to do? You are an angel from heaven above, and you are the angel I'll forever love. I'll do my best to love you. I'll do my best to be true. I'll do my best to please you. What else is there to do? You are an angel from heaven above, and you are the angel that I'll forever love.
Those are the Pipes. Those are the Pipes. That's actually the harder one to find, by the way, by the Pipes. July 1956, going out to Darrell Letts. You Are an Angel. That one there on Dootsy Williams' Dutone record label. Huey Roundtree, the lead singer on that. He also wrote the tune. Forgot to give you the email address. If you want to send me your requests, you can send them to me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Was up late looking for requests, and I ended up finding them all except one, which I thought I had for Mike in New Rochelle. That's Blue Jays EP. I found two of the Blue Jays EP on Dig, but I couldn't find the third one. I thought that Spence sold that one to me, but he might not have. He might have only sold me the two. But anyway, I will continue. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, now last week, I featured the Griffins, their last release that came out on the Mercury subsidiary, Wing Records, a great group out of Washington, D.C., and the side was called Forevermore. It was George Tompkins and Nick Nicola requested the flip side. Again, it features William Ross on lead. We go back to March 1956. These are the Griffins. It's going out to George and Nick on Wing Records. It's called Leave It to Me.
Leave singing to the birds, honey making to the bees. But when it comes to loving you, darling, leave that to me. Leave swimming to the fish, high tides to the angry sea. But when it comes to loving you, darling, leave that to me. I wonder far and near to find a love so true. I need your tender care.
I'm in love with you, Cupid.
Leave running to the halls, weeping to the willow trees. But when it comes to loving you, darling, leave that to me.
I'm in love with you, Cupid.
Leave running to the halls, weeping through the willow trees. But when it comes to loving you, darling, leave that to me. So, darling, leave that to me.
Those are the Griffins out of Washington, D.C. That's their final release on the Mercury subsidiary, Wing Records, going out to George and Nick, March 1956. The Griffins would Leave It to Me. Leave it to Johnny G to program the Vinyl Treasure Show for you guys. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here. Great requests, by the way. I always get great requests from you, the listeners. Let's continue here. Here's a request for listener Amnon. This group is out of Bridgeport, Connecticut, recorded for Eddie Heller's Rainbow label. Now, the lead singer of this, his name is Matthew Morales, and this is a request going out to Amnon. May 1956. They're called the Startones. The Startones on the Rainbow label. It's called Forever My Love. This is for Amnon.
As long as the sky is blue up above, I want you to be forever my love. We speak of love so tenderly, and I said to myself, this should forever be. Ooh. Our love came to light on a cool summer night. We strolled through park. I stole a kiss in the dark. Now I insist we should never part. As long as the sky is blue up above, I want you to be forever my love. Our love came to light on a cool summer night. We strolled through the park. I stole a kiss, yes, in the dark. Now I insist we should never part. We speak of love so tenderly, and I said to myself, this should forever be. Forever be.
May 1956 release there for the Startones. Startones, by request for Amnon on Eddie Heller's Rainbow record label. Forever My Love is the name of the two. Now, the group would later record as the Carnations. Pretty sure the Carnations on the Les K label in 61, if you're familiar with the song Long Tall Girl. And it's got a great ballad on the flip side that I don't remember what it is. Anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyltreasure show. And up next, a request for Robert from Los Angeles, California. Robert Castillo out of Los Angeles, California. This group is from Los Angeles. They're called the Twilighters. Now, the lead singer, he was Little Charles Wright, who in the late 1960s would form the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band. Now, label owner Charlie Williams heard Charles performing this somewhere. He was singing this, and he wanted him to record it for his label, Charlie Records. So this song first came out as Little Charlie Wright on the Charlie record label. Then when Los Angeles disc jockey Dick Huggy Boy Hug, he heard the song, he decided to release it on his own Caddy label as the Twilights. And then subsequently the record got picked up on Dot Records, but we're going to talk about this more after I play it. So there is a part 2 to this. But anyway, this is going out by request to Robert in L.A. I'm featuring it on the original label, Caddy Records. October 1956, the Twilighters on Caddy. The song is called Eternally. For Robert.
I could love you eternally, would you understand how I feel? There wouldn't be time enough forever if we could live forever. If I could love you eternally, would you understand how I feel? There wouldn't be time enough. Time has no boundaries for the love I have for you. Forever's tomorrow, eternity's but a few. I'll always love you, I'll never want anyone new. So baby, eternally. If I could love you eternally, would you understand how I feel? There wouldn't be time enough. Whoop, 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 whoop.
That's by request for Robert in Los Angeles. Those are the Twilighters out of Los Angeles, October 1956 release. I featured it on the original label, Dick Huggy Boy Hug's Caddy Records. It was picked up by Dot Records. Some of you collectors may own it on the Dot label. Eternally is the name of the tune. Of course, Little Charles Wright, he is the lead singer. Now, when it came out originally on the Charlie label, they didn't have a flip side. So Charlie Williams, he didn't have a flip side, so he put another group song on the flip side. It was a song by the New Tones, a song that was released in 1954, came out on the Hollywood Star label. It was called Believe. So when Huggy Boy, got the masters, or when he put it out on his Caddy label, he issued the exact same thing. It was this song, Eternally, flipped with a song called I Believe. So we're going to give a listen to the original. I played the second, which actually has a better sound quality to it. But the first presses, and this was sold to me by Jerry Diaz, of course, but it's the same song Eternally, but the flip side was a song called Believe that was done in 1954 on the Hollywood Star label. So they kind of just altered the title a little bit and put I Believe. So the first flip sides came out like this. These are really the New Tones. There was a cough there.
Please believe in me. That's when your heart will see how much you need.
Well, you see, that was the flip side. So what happened was, the record started taking off, I think, and I think Dot Records wanted to get involved. He said, well, we can't put that on the flip side. So what happened was they had Little Charlie Wright re-record that song with the group backing him up. I forget the guys who they were. I was looking in that L.A. book. It mentions who the Twilighters are backing him up, and we're going to play this next week, but I'll just give you a little bit of a sample of it. It's a great tune, by the way.
Let God be first.
This was the second issue, which is not as rare as the one I just played, by the way.
Are none. My love is for you.
Darren typing in a price guide there.
And no other one. I believe.
So we're going to play that next week because that's a great record, by the way. So that actually is the second. Okay, that's not the first. That is actually the second. And I played the first. I think I paid $800 for the other one. This one I didn't. This one I think I paid $150 for the second one. But I like this flip better, the second flip, and that's the same flip that's on the Dot release. But anyway, there you go with a little bit of education on the Twilighters on the Caddy. But thanks for requesting that, Robert in California. We're going to hear the flip next week. Who am I going to send it out to? George, you? Well, anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyltreasure show. And last week, I featured the Vibra Harps, a great group out of Buffalo, request for listener George Tompkins on the Beach label, Beech. The song was called Cozy with Rosie, and George also requested the flip side. Now, Cozy with Rosie featured Danny Cannon on lead, but the flip side features the bass of the group, and his name is Charles Hargrove, and it's a pretty cool side by him, and this is going out to George Tompkins. Actually, I think Daryl and Nick chimed in with the flip side, but George requested it in August 1956. These are the Vibra Harps on the Beach label. It's called Walk Beside Me for George.
Walk beside me and use your love to guide me. Oh, oh, baby, please walk beside me and hold my hand.
Hold my hand.
Say you'll love me until we reach promised land. Each step, each step, each step of the way for your love, I'll pray that you will love me too, the way that I love you. Oh, walk beside me until eternity. Oh, walk beside me, and our love will always be. Each step, each step, each step of the way for your love, I'll pray that you will love me too, the way that I love you. Oh, walk beside me until eternity. Oh, walk beside me, and our love will always be.
Our love will always be.
That's going out to George Tompkins. Also send it out to Nick and Daryl. August 1956, the Vibra Harps out of Buffalo, New York on the Beach label. Walk Beside Me is the name of the tune. Charles Hargrove, he's the bass of the group. He's on lead. Two more releases would follow this one. I think one on Fury Records and also another one on the Echo. They were the same group. I thought they were. Possibly, or at least I think he left, though, the group, this bass. And so maybe they were just certain members. I'm not sure. As we continue here on the vinyl treasure. There it was. So George said it, yes, on Fury also. That is correct. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, now last week I featured the Falcons on the VJ subsidiary Falcon label. The group was out of Columbus, Ohio. I featured the ballad, was called Now That It's Over. It was listener Nick, George, and Daryl. Again, asking for the flip sides here. So Daryl is corralling you guys for the flip sides here. Well, you know, in the 50s, a lot of the flip sides were just as good, if not better, than the A sides. Was not the case when you got to the 70s, though, and also sometimes in the 60s. That was not the case. But this tune co-written by the lead singer of the group, his name is Paul Jackson. We are in 1957, November 57 now, for the Falcons on the Falcon label. It's called My Only Love.
You're my only love.
That's going out to George, Nick, and Daryl, the Falcons there, November 1957 release on the Falcon label, which later on became Abner Records, by the way. My Only Love is the name of the tune. Paul Jackson, the lead on that. Now, this this song would later be recorded by the Sequins in 1962. Came out on the Ditto label and was also picked up by Chess Records. And this Falcons group would also record as the lyrics in 1958 on the VJ record label. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool 1950s 45s out of my collection. Let's continue here. I don't feature a lot of acapella here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, but this is actually a request for a new listener and an old listener. I know Rick and Philly was moving to Florida. I haven't seen Rick and Philly lately, at least in my chat room, but this request is for Eston P. Eston P. requested me on Facebook. He's a lover of Group Harmony 45s, and also Rick and Philly requested this a while back, but I didn't have it. It actually just came in the mail the other day, and was really, really cheap that I got it for too, by the way. And It's an acapella song. Now, this group, though, is out of Los Angeles, California. I actually featured their fourth request. I featured their fourth record on the specialty label last week. Daniel requested it. I played a song called Love is a Wonderful Thing. But this song was previously unreleased, but it was recorded for Larry Mead's Vita label, probably the same time they issued it with instrumentation, which was January 1957, which I played not too long ago because I didn't have this a cappella version. But somebody put it out on a 45 and put it on the Vita label, I think in 1972, and didn't call them the Titans. He called them the Vitamins. But of course, they're really the Titans. They are in fact the Titans. And it's with Charles Wright on lead, but it's an a cappella version. So this is going out to Eston and Rick in Philly. I'm going to call it January 57. It's an a cappella tune by the Vitamins, aka the Titans, on the Vita label. Their song is called So Hard to Laugh, So Easy to Cry.
Yes, it's over. No more balcony scene, no more dancing with the gang always meet. It's so hard to laugh, so easy to cry. Now that we've said goodbye, yes, it's over. No more curfew to break, no more memory. We must hurry and make. It's so hard to laugh, so easy to cry. Now that we've said goodbye, dreams won't die, though you go away. I'll be loving you, loving you. Maybe I ought to make you stay, but it's mighty hard to cling to a falling star. My smiling days are over, and beyond all recall, just a lot of no more nothing at all. It's so hard to laugh, so easy to cry. Now that we've said goodbye, now that we have said goodbye.
As by request for Eston and Rick in Philly. Those are the Vitamins, aka the Titans, January 1957 on the Vita label. So Hard to Laugh, So Easy to Cry. And that was there. I think it's on that Best of Vita Records on the Relic label. I think it's on there. But I remember seeing it. It came out in 1972. I remember seeing it in the like the trade magazines that it was available. So maybe George mentioned it. It was put out by Don Folletti, Eddie Grice and Don Folletti maybe issued it. I know they were behind all those Relic LPs, which are very cool, by the way. The fidelity is not the greatest, but I have a number of those LPs when I was buying them when I was just a kid learning about the music, and I don't know all. I try to, but at least I try to transfer what I do know to you, the listeners, to the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now let's continue here. Let's go to Long Island, New York for this next group, as many groups that recorded on the Acme label were out of Long Island. And this is a request for M9, and I'm going to guess that Michael in New Rochelle is going to like this tune because he likes up-tempos. And this is a cool up-tempo 45. This group consisted of six members. Four of them were brothers. So the four brothers were Albert, Danny, Wallace, and Richard Lanham. And they really made up the majority of the tempo tones. Of course, you know Richard Lanham and the tempo tones on your radio. That's a cool up-tempo tune. But the group, the tempo tones, who backed them up on that, and they also had 3 releases as the tempo tones. This is their third and probably the hardest. So this is by request for Mnon, September 1957. These are the tempo tones on the Acme record label going out to Mnon. It's called Come Into My Heart.
Oh baby, come and give me one more chance. I need you, darling. My mind's right, told you that I want you. Now come into my heart. You know I love you, honey child. Can't you see that I'm your man? Come back, baby. Now come into my heart.
That's by request for Mnon. Those are the tempo tones out of Long Island, New York, September 1957. That's on the Acme record label, their third release on the Acme label, and their hardest. Ride Along might be their easiest to find, Mike, but that one you don't hear often. Come Into My Heart. Chris Farellis sold me that record a long time ago. As we continue now on the Vinyl Treasure Show, spinning 45s from the year 1957, as we go back to a request for Robert in Los Angeles, California. Now, Robert requested Carl Hogan and the Miracles. Now, Carl was a member of the Valentines, and he also half of a duo that recorded for Red Robin Records, Charles and Carl. But this is Carl Hogan on lead and backed up by the Miracles, who were Leon Briggs, Joe Brisbane, Irving Lee Gale, and Jerry Moore. And this is a very rare 45 on Bobby Robinson's Fury record label. We go back to February 1957. This is going out to Robert, Carl Hogan and the Miracles on Fury Records. It's called I Love You So.
I love you so.
I love you so.
Need you more than you'll ever know.
More than you know.
Why then why? Oh, why must you go?
Why must you go?
Need you more than you know.
More than you know.
Please come home.
Please come home.
Just to hear your voice on the phone.
On the phone.
Then I'll know that I'm not alone.
I'm not alone.
Please come on home.
Come put your arms around me. Take what you want from me. Come, let us go together. This love is rightfully mine.
Need you more than you'll ever know.
More than you know.
Why then why? Oh, why must you go?
Why must you go?
Need you more than you know.
That's a rare 45 on the Fury record label, requested by Robert in California, February 1957. Carl Hogan and the Miracles on the Fury label. I Love You So is the name of the tune. Maybe one of the harder records to find on the Fury label. I paid more for that than even that Charles Baker, which, yeah, Charles Baker was under 4 numbers. This is over 4 numbers. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we continue here. And up next is a request for listener Joe Shacatano, for this singer born in Caldwell, Louisiana, but he relocated out to Los Angeles, California, had a whole bunch of releases on the Modern record label. Well, at least a lot of, or some records on the Modern label with his group called the Honey Jumpers. And he also had 8 releases on Leon Renee's Class label. Now, Joe requested his 4th release, and there is a vocal group backing on this. I don't know who they are. Could be anybody. Could just be a chorus also. But I had to go dig for this record, and I finally found it late last night. So this is going out to Joe Shacatano, December 1957 release for Oscar McLally. You might know his tune called Convicted. I think that was his biggest record on the Modern label, but this is on Class. Oscar McLally on the Class label. It's called King of the Fools.
His Majesty the King, King of the Fools.
Why should my throne, my crown, and my kingdom? I am the King of the Fools. I am the greatest of all the fools. I broke love's golden rule. Fall on your knees, pretend I'm a wise man. Bring me treasures and jewels. Raise my crown, all heads bow down. I enter, King of the Fools. Blinded by glitter of make-believe gold, so foolish my tales have been told. Endless the rainbows I travel each day, searching for love all the way. Lovers all come to my land of sorrow, lost in love's spinning whirlpool. I sit and wait for others tomorrow. I am the king of the in love's spinning whirlpool. I sit and wait for others tomorrow. I am the king of the blues. I am the king of the blues. King of the
That's going out to Joe Shacatano. I bet many of you never heard that tune there before, but that's a cool tune by Oscar McLally and a group, December 1957, on a Leon Renee's Class label, one of the thousands of labels that your host Johnny G collects. King of the Fools is the name of that one. I know somebody who is the King of the Fools. It's not me and it's not you. It is somebody else. But let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, earlier in the show, we featured the Solitaires, yes, with an A, as Reed pointed out. On that earlier release, they spelled their name with an A, but after that point, I think everything changed with an I. But we played their second release on High Weiss's Old Town record label. Please Remember My Heart was the tune. That was requested by Daniel Kubacki. Here they are again with a request for a listener, Timothy, in our YouTube chat room. This is a request going out to Timothy. It's a B-side to their 12th release on Old Town Records. Now, you know the A-side. It was called Walking Along, which featured Milton Love on lead. The flip side features Herman Curtis, a.k.a. Dunham, on leads. This is going out to Timothy from January 1957. It's our twin spin, although separated by a number of years, by the Solitaires on Old Town. It's called Please Kiss This Letter. This is for Timothy.
Please kiss this letter. I send today, for it will tell you what my lips refuse to say. Please kiss this letter, for you must see that with each line I send a little part of me will my hands caress it, my lips have sealed it too. One touch from your lips will make my dreams come true. Please kiss this letter, I beg of you.
these letters, I beg of you, for in this letter I set my heart to you.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That one there by request for Timothy in our YouTube chat room. That's a great B-side there by the Solitaires. Herman Curtis, Herman Dunham, whichever one you choose, on lead, January 1957, the flip side of Walking Along, High Weiss's Old Town record label. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We head to Brooklyn, New York, this time for a request for Daniel Kubacki, and he requested the Shells. This is their second release on Hiram Johnson's Johnson record label. It actually was the follow-up to Baby Oh Baby, and I upgraded this record a couple times. I cannot get a clean sounding copy for some reason. Don't ask me why, but I just can't. But there were presses that came out, I think after this, on George Goldner's Juanita label, I think, but this is the first press, according to Ferdy Gonzalez's Disco File. The Johnson release was the first press, but the Juanita, that might be a little harder to find, but they are not the first presses. But it features Nathaniel Bouknight on lead. This is going out to Daniel Kubacki, 1958, the Shells on Johnson. It's called Pleading No More.
Darling, you know I really love you so much. Never let you go, but I can't be pleading no more. I really need you. I won't deny. I want you for the rest of my life, but I can't be. No, I can't be pleading no more. Baby, you want to take my hand and you say that I know love I'm making and you for me and me for you. And say it will always be, darling, you know I really love you so much. Never let you go on, but I can't be pleading no more. Baby, you want to take my hand and you say that I know love of me and you for me and me for you, and the way it will always be, darling, you know I love you so, but I never let you go, but I can't be, no, I can't be pleading no more.
Hiss and All is going out to Daniel Kubacki there, the Shells, with Nathaniel Bouknight on lead, the 1958 release. That's their follow-up to Baby Oh Baby, song entitled Pleading No More. That one there on the Johnson label. We are in the year 1958, and we go back to the state of Ohio. We go to, this time, to Cleveland, Ohio, with the debut single for this group, and it's a request for listener Nick Nicola. This is on the Studio record label. It was co-written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Robert Chalmers, and this is from 1958. These are the El Palos. The El Palos on the Studio record label, going out to Nick. It's called These Four Letters.
These four letters control your hopes, my
pat you on the shoulder and whisper, everything's gonna be alright.
If you do your part, then I'll do mine. Then these four letters can't help but bring us joy and peace of mind. These four letters control. Yeah.
That's by request for Nick Nicola. They're the El Palos. El Palos from 1958. That's on the studio record label. These Four Letters is the name of the tune. That is not an easy record to find by any means, but this is the same group that recorded on the Neptune label a song called Why Treat Me This Way, which is, I think, more common than this record for sure. This was an expensive 45 when that was offered to Johnny G. We continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. We are in the year of 1958. Up next for this group called the Versatones. Now, I was looking for a request for listener Mike P, and he wanted to know if I had the Lost Night reissue of this song. Actually, not this side, but I'm going to talk about this side because I didn't know, because Mike told me, I was talking to Mike and he told me something about this record I didn't really know, and I didn't really even know about the Lost Night reissue of the Bila song that this group does. And he was telling me that the Lost Night reissue on the yellow vinyl release, and maybe the regular release, I don't know. I don't know if it only came out on yellow vinyl, but it is a different version from the original that came out on the All-Star label, which I did not know. But I was looking for if I had it on Lost Night. I got so many things on Lost Night Records, I just couldn't find that one, at least not yet. But Mike also told me that the flip side, which is called Tight Skirt and Sweater, on the original, which is All-Star, is different from the Atlantic release. And I do own all three labels, and I also noticed that some of the times are different, like from the Fenway release, the time is different on the Atlantic release on one of the sides, and even the title on the Fenway just says Tight Skirt. But we're going to play the original, and then I'm going to play you a little bit of the Atlantic, because they started off differently, and that was from Mike P. Thanks for that information, Mike. We go back to March 1958. These are the Versatones on the All-Star record label. You flip over Bila, you get this tune called Tight Skirt and Sweater.
Tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt, tight sweater. Well, look who I see coming into the class. If I keep looking at her, I ain't gonna pass. I can't keep my eyes on my history exam. Tight skirt and sweater, oh man. Tight skirt. Tight sweater, tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt, tight sweater. I know I ought to study my homework book, but when she come around, I just gotta look. She's the cutest looking baby that I ever did see. Tight skirt and sweater, yes sir. Tight skirt, tight sweater. Tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt, tight sweater.
skirt and sweater. She's real
tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt and sweater, tight skirt and sweater, tight skirt and sweater.
Well, we'll send that one out to Mike P. Those are the Versatones. The Versatones from March 1958 on the All-Star record label Tight Skirt and Tight Sweater. So since we're talking about that record, let me just play a little bit of the Atlantic. Reed, you said you don't have the Atlantic release on that. This is the... Tell me, remember... Listen to the beginning of this. Listen to the beginning. You tell me if it's if you think it's the same recording or not, because it's definitely different, at least in the beginning. Just in the beginning. Listen. This is the original. Okay, that guy screaming that in the beginning, and here it is on the Atlantic. So listen to it on the Atlantic. Here it is. So what do you think?
Tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt.
I think this is a different cut.
Tight skirt, tight sweater.
Let's check the Fenway, because I didn't check the Fenway. This is the Fenway, and it says just tight skirt. Tell me if you think this. I think is the all-star cut. Let's see. That's the Atlantic cut.
Tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt, tight sweater, tight skirt.
Anyway, we checked that one out. Thank you, Mike, for that information on that. Let's continue here. Whoops, on the Vinyltreasure Show, and up next, a group out of Philadelphia and a request for listener Joe Shacatano. They first recorded for the Red Top folks and then moved over to Cameo Records for 2 releases. Now, Joe requested their first of 2 on the Cameo label. It features the lead of Garnet Mims. This one from September 1958. It's going out to Joe, the Gainers on Cameo Records. It's called The Secret.
The
secret, I know a secret, a story I'll never tell, about 2 sweethearts who loved each other. He is my best friend, she is his girl. The first time I saw her, I just couldn't resist her. Her beauty gave me a thrill. She was so lovely, and I adored her. I fell in love with my best friend's girl.
Yes, the first time I saw her, I just couldn't resist her, 'cause her beauty gave me a crazy thrill.
And I will love her, yes, I will love her, but it's my secret until secret. Yes, I've got a secret, and I'll never tell till I die.
Those are the Gaynors out of Philadelphia with Garnet Mims on lead. September 1958 release on the Cameo record label, song entitled The Secret. Of course, they would sign with Mercury Records, and then finally they had a release on the Tally-Ho label before Garnet Mims signed with United Artists with his group called The Enchanters. And that record belonged to Joe Booza. I bought that from Mike Demersion, who was selling Joe's collection on consignment. So I was able to get a lot of Joe Booza's collection in JohnnyG's collection. That was one of them. And I cleaned it late last night to play it on the show tonight. Anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. This next 45 is very interesting because I didn't know anything about this record. So Amnon sends me his requests, and he requested this song by the Darts. I know the Darts, Sherman and the Darts, Sherman Nichols and the Darts, but I didn't know this Darts song, and it wasn't in my normal boxes. I had to go check my Dot records for this because it didn't really ring a bell with me. But according with the information that Charlene found, this Darts group is really a duo. And after the Cadillacs split into two separate groups, that happened, I think, in 1957. Earl Carroll had his own group, and they still remained on the Josie label. But the other two guys, J.R. Bailey and Bobby Spencer, formed another group. I think one was called the Original Cadillacs, and the other one stayed as the Cadillacs. I think that's how it went. But of course, they would get back together again in 1958. But during that short period of time, J.R. Bailey and Bobby Spencer cut a record for Dot Records, and they called themselves the Darts, and that's what this record is. It's kind of a pop sounding tune. It gets better as it goes along, but I was surprised. I really was, because at first it didn't sound like they could be the Cadillacs, but they are the Cadillacs, or at least members of the Cadillacs. So maybe for some of you it's a first time listen, so which would be very cool. But anyway, this is from April 58. This is by request for Amnon. These are the Darts that are J.R. Bailey and Bobby Spencer. It's on the Dot record label. It's called Sweet Little Baby. It's like kind of a pop rock and roll thing. Let's give it a spin.
Chi 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 chitty chitty chi 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 boom chi chitty chitty chi 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 boom chi chitty chitty chi 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 boom chi chitty chi chi. Sweet little baby, tell me you are my little baby. You are so divine, little baby. You belong to me. Sweet little baby, take me in your arms, little baby, let me know your charms, little baby, you belong to me. Tell me you're true for all eternity, and whatever you do, just love me faithfully. Sweet little baby, make my life complete. Little baby, you are oh so sweet. Little baby, you belong to me. Boom.
Yeah, it's definitely a different sound for those two that were members of the Cadillacs, but that's by request for Emnon. Those are the Darts, really, J.R. Bailey and Bobby Spencer. That is them from April 1958, came out on the Dot record label. Sweet Little Baby is the name of the tune. We continue here in 1958 with a flip side from last week. I played a request for Joe Shacatano. He requested The Wonders. The Wonders, a group out of Los Angeles, California. I featured the first press on the Forward label. The song was called Be My Love, Be My Love. It would come out on a second label, Tampa Records, as Tony Allen and the Wonders. Of course, Tony Allen is on lead. It was George Tompkins and Darrell Letts asked for the flip side, which is also excellent. This one from August 1958, The Wonders on the Forward label. Tony Allen, he's the lead singer. The song is called Tell Me.
On your mind, tell me what's on your mind, tell me what's on your mind.
Oh, I love you so.
Show me that you care. Show me that you care. Show me that you care for me.
Oh, I know that I love.
That's a great two-sided 45 there. Those are The Wonders, featured the first press on the Forward label, August 1958, song entitled Tell Me. That's for Darrell Letts and George Tompkins. You can also get this repressed on the Tampa label, but the Forward label is the first. Let's continue here, and speaking of Tampa, we go to Tampa, Florida for this next group, and it's a very rare 45 on the Suncoast record label. This is a request for listener Nick Nicola. The members included James and Joe Anderson, Ralph Black, Artis Clayton, Eddie Hall, and Willie Walker Jr. Collectively, they were known as the Starlighters. This is on the Suncoast record label. This is going out to Nick Nicola, August 58, the Starlighters on Suncoast. It's called Until You Return.
Until you return, there's love in my heart. No other love, no other love. Until you return, there's love in my heart. My love, it grows stronger while we are
slowly since you've been gone. Deep down in my heart, I know I was wrong. Until you return, my lips will burn for your kiss. Down on bended knees, I pray to thee that when you return, you will still belong to me. I'll be so lonely and full of misery until you return your love to me. Until you return this love in my heart, my love will grow stronger while we apart. Until you come back, there'll be no other love. Until you return this love in my heart, there'll be no other love, no other love, no other love.
As by request for Nick Nicola there, those are the Starlighters. The Starlighters from August 1958 on the Suncoast record label. Until You Return is the name of the tune. And just because a record is rare, yes, Fred, it doesn't mean that it's good, but that record is good, and everybody has their own opinion. So I guess, you know, if Fred doesn't like that record, he doesn't have to buy it, and he doesn't have to spend a lot of money for it. It's all in the eyes of the beholder. That's how it is. But that record is in demand for people that like the same kind of music that I do. So anyway, that's all I say. So just because I say a record is rare, I mean it for the people that listen to the kind of music that I feature here. So you know, there may be a rare Joni James record that Fred is looking for that could be ultra rare, and it might not be that good, but it could be ultra rare. But again, when I talk about a rare record, it means they're scarce and they are expensive to the people like your host Johnny G that collect them. That's what I mean. So the rarity is in the eyes of the beholder, and some people just, you know, don't dig rarity, and that's cool too. And that's why you can get CDs and bootlegs, as you can fit what you like to do. That is the fact. That is a fact. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Actually, this group, by the way, this group also had a release on the Nugget label back in 1959, the Starlighters, which is that a rare record? I'm trying to think. It might not be that rare, possibly. But anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And on last week's show, I featured the Chandeliers. They're Chandeliers, a group out of Kansas City, Missouri, with the, of course, their best-known record, or their big hit, was a song called Blueberry Sweet. And I played the follow-up, which was a song called Dolly, which featured William Watson on lead. And the flip has a different lead singer and was requested by Reed King, who is in our chat room, and I relish Reed's experience as a collector and knowledge as a collector, as he is a peer of Johnny G. And I enjoy having Reed in my chat room and commenting, as I do all of you, every Saturday night. And the lead on this is Luther Rice, and it's a request for Reed King. This is on Thomas Robinson's Angletone record label. We go back to May 1958. The Chandeliers on Angletone. It's the flip side of Dolly, a song entitled Dancin' in the Congo.
Down in the valley of the Congo,
yeah, there's a crazy place called Moroccos.
and what's that dance they always do?
Moroccos, Moroccos.
Dancing in the Congo, dancing in the Congo, dancing in the
another name. We call it dancing. Whoa, dancing in the Congo. If you ever go to the Congo, you meet all the friends that you should know. And before they let you get away from that, dancing in the Congo, you be dancing. Whoa, in the Congo.
There you go. That's going out to Reed King. Those are the Chandeliers. Chandeliers from May 1958 on the Angletone record label. Dancin' in the Congo is the name of the tune. I forgot to welcome in the Oldies and More radio network here to the Vinyl Treasure Show. Thank you all for tuning in here. Johnny G's spinning original vinyl 45s. We do it every Saturday live on YouTube beginning at 10 p.m. We're here till 1 a.m. We all normally go longer. We'll try to get out of here by 1:30 or so. But thank you all for tuning in to the Vinyl Treasure Show. If you have requests, you can send them to me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. If you want to join in on the YouTube stream, you just have to sign into YouTube, and then you can come in to the chat room that way. If not, you can still view it on your phone. You don't have to sign into YouTube, but you can't contribute in chat and you can't subscribe. So that is the way it goes. But send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. We are in the year 1958 now, and I've got a great girl group sound up next, and it's a request for Robert Castillo, listening in Los Angeles, California. These gals, they're from Brooklyn, New York, and the lead singer, her name is Cleo Baker, who previously sang lead with the Chandeliers. If you know the song Please Be My Guy by Cleo and the Chandeliers, originally on the Johnson label, which I need, also came out on Cindy. That's the way I have it. But they changed their name one more time in 1958 to the Fawns, and this is by request for Robert. October 58, the Fawns on Apt Records. It's called Until I Die.
Until I die.
That's going out to Robert in California. Those are the Fawns. Cleo Baker and the Fawns there, October 1958 on the Apt label, a subsidiary of ABC Paramount Records. Until I Die is the name of the tune. Let's move into 1959 now with a request for George Tompkins. This group is out of Hackensack, New Jersey. They recorded for Bob Shadd's Time record label out of New York City. Now, this is their only release. It features Kenny Clay. He's the lead singer on this. This charted number 38 on KQV out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We go back to January 59. Give a listen to the Tabbies. The Tabbies on the Time label. The song is called My Darling. This is for George.
My darling, say that you always love me. I'll always love you, girl, I love you. Yes, and I need you by my side. If you leave me, girl, if you leave me, I would die. My dearest darling, I want you to know that I love you. Yes, I love you so. Please hear my plea and say that you'll always stay with me. So, darling, I hope and pray that you'll always be with me. If you leave me, girl, if you leave me, I would die, would die.
That's a cool tune there. That's by request for George Tompkins. That group called the Tabbies. The Tabbies with Kenny Clay. He's the lead singer. January 1959 release on Bob Shadd's Time record label. Song entitled My Darling. Hope you're digging on these cool tunes. Some of these I haven't heard in a long, long time. I can tell you that much. But we head to Detroit, Michigan for a flip side from last week. And I played a request for Mike P. last week. He requested Little Joe and the Moroccos on Robert West's Bumblebee label. It was called Trouble in the Candies. No, it was not Trouble in the Candy Shop, as I messed it up. It was called Bubblegum. Oh my goodness. Johnny G needs some bubble gum. Yes, I do. Let me put that back on there. Yeah, the song was called Bubblegum. But listeners, Darylette, who else asked me for this? Reed, who asked me for this flip side? George, did you ask me for the flip side? I forget here. Johnny G's so confused tonight. Must be the retirement coming up. But it features Little Joe Harris on lead. This one from 1959. Whoever requested it, this is going out to you. Little Joe and the Moroccos. Little Joe Harris on lead on the Bumblebee label. It's called Trouble in the Trouble in the Candy Shop.
Near the Milky Way on Fifth Avenue, Mr. Hershey brought all around the zoo week. Oh, Peter, honey, the kids did stop till they found trouble in the candy shop. Pussy got a kiss from baby. Oh, Henry saw it, and I got it too. As the men were reaching for the spin, I
Kitty Leeds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's Little Joe and the Moroccos. It's on Robert West's Bumblebee record label. It's out of Detroit, Michigan, 1959 there. That's for George Tompkins, Darrell Letts, and Reed King. Trouble in the Candy Shop. Flip side of Bubble Gum. Let's continue here. We are in 1959. Up next, a request for Tom Shaughnessy. Tom Shaughnessy, how you doing? Haven't heard from you this week, and I hope everything is okay. And actually, last week, Tom requested the Marylanders that I featured on the Jubilee record label, Please Love Me, from 1952. They're out of Baltimore, Maryland. When the group eventually broke up, second tenor of the group, Johnny Page, formed a new group. He called them the Stylists. The Stylists, they had this lone release as requested by Tom Shaughnessy on Jay Schwing's J-Wing record label, a label out of Stevenson, Maryland, and it features William George on lead. This one from 1959. This is going out to Tom Shaughnessy, the Stylists on J-Wing. The song is called Morning.
Now, morning, my whole life through, yes, my poor heart is aching, loving you the way I do. Now, craving, that's all I do. Yes, I can go on this way, loving you the way I do.
Now won't you come?
Now won't you come back
to my arms?
To my arms.
Let me hold
Let me hold
you in
you
my loving arms.
in your loving arms.
You know how much I love you.
How much I love you.
Baby, 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 let me hold you in my arms.
That's all I do. My heart is aching, loving you the way I do.
Loving you the way I do.
That's going out to Tom Shaughnessy, the Stylists there, from 1959 on the J-Wing record label Morning. They spelled it Mourning. That's, well, was that, well, so were they in mourning or morning? Johnny G losing his mind here tonight as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, last week I played a request for listener Joe Shacatano. He requested the Jades, or forgot he requested the Jades on the Nauvoo record label, a group out of Charleston, West Virginia, and I featured the ballad side called Walking All Alone. Let's give a listen to the flip before we file it back down in the No Humidity basement. This one released in July 1959. It features Ron Brooks on lead. He also wrote the song. These are the Jades on Nauvoo Records. It's called Hey, Little Girl.
You said you loved me, but oh, time apart. You took my kisses and then you broke my heart. But I'll always love you till the day I die. Hey little girl, won't you please be mine?
B-sides here, or maybe, I don't know, maybe that's the A-side. Didn't check the numbers there, but those are the Jades. The Jades from July 1959 on the Nauvoo record label. Hey Little Girl is the name of the tune. You gotta check your flip sides. You don't have to check your flip sides if you have the same song on both sides, unless it's stereo and stereo and mono, and you want to hear how the stereo sounds. But no stereos here. My shell heads are wired for mono. They aim to please as we continue now. And on the October 2nd, 2021 Vinyltreasure show, I played a request for Nat Papagallo. Nat, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay down there in Naples, Florida. But he requested this group from Brooklyn, New York. They were called the Scotch Tones. Came out on the Good Spin record label. The song was called Just For You. Came out in November of 1959. The 45 was subsequently re-released in 1961 as by the Harptones on the Fonska record label. But listener Darrell Letts, way back when, and more recently, Ryan Heisey requested the flip side, and this is from November of 1959, featuring the original on the Good Spin record label, and it features Graham Lee True on lead, and this is going out to Ryan and also Darrell, the Shy Tones, aka the High Tones, on Good Spin Records. It's called A Lover's Quarrel.
Here I'm sitting all alone.
November 1959, release there for the Sheiks. Sheiks featured on the first label, Goodspin Records. Actually, on the second label, Fonska, they're known as the Harptones. That's going out to Ryan Heisey and Darrell Letts. A Lover's Quarrel is the name of that tune. We continue. We are in 1959, couple more in 59. And last week, I played a request for Mike P. He requested The Mistakes on Leo Rogers' Lo-Fi record label, a reply song to the Silhouettes' Get a Job. It was called I Got Fired. Well, Johnny G not getting fired anymore. I actually, as a matter of fact, Johnny G was fired, I think, 4 times in my working career. 4 times? Or 3, at least 3 times. 3 times I was fired. Then you got to go through unemployment. It's not the easiest thing. It really isn't, because it builds up and the company doesn't like you. They start writing you up, and it's just crazy. When new people come in, they want to. That's how it is. That's how it is in the white-collar office work. If people leave, a new manager comes in, they write you up, they want to bring their pals in, and you are out. Maybe no other reason, but that happened at least twice to me, and I never really got fired for insubordination. That's really when it's bad. But although when they wanted me to work weekends and not pay me, that happened to me when I worked for Ingersoll Rand, and they wanted me to work Saturdays and Sundays. I said, you don't pay me for Saturday and Sundays. Listen, I work over. Well, everybody's here. You're not here. You're not a team player. I said, well, not that I want to talk about firings. We can do another show on that. But anyway, the side I played was called I Got Fired. But we're going to flip it over here. Actually, it was Nick Nicola that asked Johnny G to flip it over. 1959, give a listen to The Mistakes on the Lo-Fi label. It's called Chapel Bells. Those are The Mistakes, going out to Nick Nicola, 1959. Kitty Lead there, by the way. The Mistakes there on the Lo-Fi record label, Chapel Bells, the flip side of I Got Fired. That press, I think the presses, I was talking to Mike P about this, the Lo-Fi presses, at least this one is kind of like muddy sounding. It's not really clear. And I don't know, those of you that own the red vinyl copy, and read, I saw your comment on 45 Cat. the big print looks like the 1961 press, but I think if you have a small print red vinyl, that might be, maybe a 59 press from this, because we were talking about if the original is on red wax. Anyway, that's what I think. Well, who cares what Johnny G thinks? But anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show for this next request. Actually, this is for Joe Shacatano. And this next artist is one of the three leads of the great group, the Five Keys. There were mainly three leads, I think, two primary leads. And they were really Marilyn Pierce and I guess my favorite, which is Rudy West, but I think you can consider Dickie Smith also did a bunch of leads, at least on their Aladdin releases, I think. Maybe some flip sides also on Capitol, too. But this is a request for Joe Shacatano for Rudy West, and it's a solo effort by him. He had 3 for Sid Nathan's King record label. This is his second, and believe it or not, it's a cover song. This song was originally done by the Passions in July 1959 on the Auticon label, but then we move up to October of 1959 with a request for Joe Shacatano for Rudy West's version of this. So let's give it a spin on the King record label. Rudy West from October 59, his rendition of the tune Just to Be With You is for Joe.
Just to be with you, just to be with you.
There is nothing I wouldn't do just to be with you. I'd climb a mountain or sail the sea. I'd crawl 1,000 miles upon my knees. I'd find a rainbow and take it from the sky. I'd be a slave till the day I die. Just to be with you. Just to be with you. There is nothing I wouldn't do just to be with you. I'd build a castle like those of old, and I would fill it with wealth untold. I'd fight a lion, compose a symphony. I'd count the stars in the galaxy. Just to be with you. Just to be with you. There is nothing I wouldn't do just to be with you.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's Rudy West. Rudy West by request for Joe Shacatano. That is a cover of the Passions, Just to Be With You on the King record label. From October 1959. That's going out to Joe. Let's continue here on Vinyl Treasures. Actually, it's a twin spin. Well, we can't call it a twin spin because this is an EP. Last week, was George Tompkins that requested the Incredible Upsetters. They had this EP they put out on the Audio Lab label. Audio Lab is out of Cincinnati, Ohio. It was a budget label for Sid Nathan. Sid Nathan, of course, I feature all of a lot of cool records on his King Federal and the Deluxe labels, but there was no cover to come with this, unfortunately. And I like these two sides better, by the way, for some reason. But it was these sides recorded September 27th, 1959, according to Ferdy Gonzalez's disco file, but released in March of 1960. So this is side 2, tracks 3 and 4 we're going to hear consecutively. And the first one is an up-tempo. The second one is the one, I think I mentioned it last week. I got mixed up on what side I was playing. But listen closely to the second release. It's called My Life, My Loved One. Sounds like a Counts song, the Counts that we heard earlier, the Counts on Dot. But up first is Ooh Wah Cha Wah. That's the first song. The second song is called My Life, My Loved One. And this is going out to George Tompkins.
Yes, sir, on through. I'm gonna tell you, pretty baby, what I think of you. Hurry up, bring your love to me. Well, now come back, baby, come back now. Tell me, little baby, just when and how I'm gonna love you, pretty baby. Yes, sir, all the night I'm gonna squeeze the pretty baby with all my might. Hurry up, bring your love to me. Well, now, bye-bye, baby, I'm going away. Tell me, little baby, what I got to say. I'm gonna love you, pretty baby, yes, sir, all the time. I'm gonna hold you, pretty baby, in my mind. Hurry up, bring your love to me. Yeah. Yes, sir, hold on through. I'm gonna tell you, pretty baby, what I think of you. Hurry up, bring your love to me. Well, now come back, baby, come back now. Tell me, little baby, just when and how I'm gonna love you, pretty baby. Yes, sir, all night I'm gonna squeeze the pretty baby with all my might. Hurry up, bring your love to me. Well, now, bye-bye, baby, I'm gone again. Tell me, little baby, what I got to say. I'm gonna love you, pretty baby, yes, sir, all the time. I'm gonna hold you, pretty baby, with it in my mind. Hurry up, bring your love to me.
That's going out to George Tompkins there. The Incredible Upsetters is the name of the group. March 1960 release on the Audio Lab label. It's actually an EP. You heard side 2, tracks 3 and 4. The first song was called Ooh Wah Chawa, and that side we just heard was My Life, My Loved One, and we mentioned it in the chat room. George mentioned it. Sounds like the Counts, My Dear, My Darling. Well, anyway, 4 great sides there on that EP. We continue here on the year of 1960, with a request for Ryan Heisey. This is a rare 45 out of, is it Houma, Louisiana? Daryl, did I say it right? And it's the only release for this group, called the Scotch Tones. I wonder if they drank scotch. You know, when my first company that I went to, my first company event, I worked for a company called Container Transport International, and it was in White Plains, New York. We had our first Christmas party. So I asked my father, I said, what should I drink? He goes, ask for Scotch on the rocks. I never drank scotch before. So, I mean, I would have preferred wine is what I should have gotten, but I said, yeah, give me Scotch on the rocks. I wonder if the Scotch Tones that's what they name themselves after. But anyway, this is going out to Ryan Heisey, July 1960, the Scotch Tones on the Rustone label. It's called Do You Have the Right? This is for Ryan.
Tear us apart. Do you have the right to break my poor heart? Do you have the right to treat me this way? What can I do to make you stay? Do you have the right to make me cry? Say goodbye. But if you have the right to do all these things, then darling, tell me, why did you take my ring? Someday I'll have the right to do all these things, and that will be the day you want to wear my ring. But if you find you love me with all of your might, that will be the day that I'll have the right. Do you have the right to make me cry? Or do you have the right to say goodbye? But if you have the right to do all these things, darling, tell me, why did you take my ring? Do wah wah wah, do wah wah wah, do wah 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 wah, do wah wah wah, do wah wah wah, do wah 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 wah.
That's by request for Ryan Heisey there. Those are the Scotch Tones. Thank you, Big Dave. It's Houma, Louisiana. Houma, Louisiana. I think that's how it's pronounced. He typed that in. Yeah, Houma, Louisiana. I said Houma because it's spelled H-O-U. But you see, just because it looks like that doesn't mean that's how it sounded. That's how it is with a lot of things. If you're not from that area, or at least if you don't visit that area and know about it. So I just read about it. But anyway, that's a cool tune. The Scotch Tones there, July 1960 on the Rustone record label. Do you have the right? Well, you do have the right to listen to Johnny G every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. right here on Oldies and More Radio and also on YouTube. And you have the right to subscribe, and you have the right to tell your friends to subscribe. So please do that, and you have the right to send me requests at vinyltreasures@aol.com or just to talk about the music. You know I love shooting the breeze with all you fans of the music. Let's continue here for an interesting record. Actually, this is a request for Nick Nicola, and I'm sure some of you that saw this record, maybe you don't know about it, maybe you've never heard it because it's like an oddball record. It's actually on a label out of Los Angeles, California called Hero Records, Hero. But the record was recorded in New York City. And this singer on this, he's from McMurray, Pennsylvania, and his real name was John Lloyd Gardner. But he didn't record under John Lloyd Gardner. He used Jackie Lloyd as his name when he recorded. Now, it's his only 45, and the interesting thing about this is the bass singer on this that you'll hear in the background, it's really Kenny Vance. Kenny Vance, who sang with Jay and the Americans and who was with the Planetones, Looking for an Echo. Well, he was in the studio and he sang bass on this record. And this is going out to Nick Nicola, September 1960. Give a listen to Jackie Lloyd on the Hero label with Kenny Vance doing bass on this. It's called Warm Love.
Warm love.
Strong love, a lasting love forever. Your kiss is a very warm kiss, a kiss that sets me on fire, 'cause you're my one desire. You are so sweet and so very neat, and may I repeat, our love is a very warm love, strong love, a lasting love forever. Our love, darling, is a very warm love. Yes, a very strong love, dear. A love that will last forever. Your kiss, such a warm kiss, dear. A kiss that sets me on fire, 'cause you're my one desire.
As by request for Nick Nicola there, that's Jackie Lloyd. Jackie Lloyd from September 1960. That's a cool cha-cha sound there on the Hero record label. Warm Love is the name of the tune. The bass singer in the background, that is Kenny Vance. And this singer, Jackie Lloyd, would join the Skyliners when Jimmy Beaumont left and sang, I think, lead on one of their releases on the Cameo label in 1962. I think Everyone You and 3 Coins Coins in the Fountain, I think as Jack Gardner. I think that's the same lead that sang this Jackie Lloyd. Anyway, Johnny G here on a Saturday evening as we continue here. Now, you know, I don't play many hits here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, but this was a 45 that my aunt did purchase in early 1961, and you know this group from Brooklyn, New York. They had a big hit on the RCA label in 1961 with The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Not really one of my favorites, but prior to recording for RCA, they signed with Morty Craft's Warwick record label. The result was this release they did, and it was number 15 both on Billboard and Cashbox, a number 3 record on WLIS in Chicago, and it features Jay Siegel on lead. And this was a request. Charlene, I forgot, it's Kenny, what was his last name? I forgot to put it down. Was it Kenny McKenna? I got a request a lot. Some people give me requests going to my vinyltreasures.net website. So Kenny sends me his requests. I get an email there that comes from the website, and I think it was Kenny McKenna that requested this. And I will just double check. I didn't write it down, but this features Jay Siegel on lead, and this is a hit that I normally don't feature, but I'm going to play it for Kenny. These are the Tokens, December 1960 on the Warwick record label. It's only a minute. It's not that long. The song is called Tonight I Fell in Love. This is for Kenny.
Dum dooby dum whoa, dooby dooby dum dooby dum whoa, dooby dooby dum dooby dum whoa. Tonight I fell in love. Whoa, tonight I fell in love. I want the stars to know tonight I fell in love. Dooby dooby dum dooby dum whoa, dooby dooby dum dooby dum whoa, true love is here to stay. 'Cause tonight I fell in love. This magic spell I'm under, this feeling that I feel, is it really real? My heart beats so fast, I pray that it will last till the end of time. Dum dooby dum whoa, dooby dooby dum dooby dum whoa, dooby dooby dum dooby dum whoa. Tonight I fell in love. Whoa, tonight.
It's always nice to listen to hits from time to time. I rarely feature hits here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, but that's Jay Siegel and the Tokens there, and that's going out, I did say it right, it was Kenny McKenna requested that cool tune there. That's a 45 my aunt purchased back in early 1961, actually released in December of 1960. The Tokens on Warwick, Tonight I Fell in Love. Now, Jay was, prior to this, I think he was singing with Darrell and the Oxfords on Roulette, then he eventually joined the Tokens, the Meddress, the Margot Brothers, etc. there, but and he's still singing. I think he's still singing today, by the way. Now, the interesting thing about this record is I have a vinyl press of this. I think Paul Gruber posted it up on my Facebook, because I put a picture of this. I put all these rare 45s on my Facebook page. I put this record a big hit, and I wanted to see if it would get any reaction. And the hits always get reaction, by the way. So, I mean, it's styrene. I hate styrene, to be honest, but I do have a vinyl press that I purchased from Disco Disc in the 70s that I didn't think was original. I didn't think the vinyl press was the original press on this, even though there were some Warwick vinyl presses out. Now, the interesting thing is I have another press of this with Columbia stampers in it that has a better sound quality, but the copy I have unfortunately, was distorted styrene, but it was definitely much louder than this, I think, which is the New York City press, is how I look at it. But anyway, there you go. The great tokens there. It's always great to hear that song. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in 1960. Let's go back out to California, and let's go back to Dick Huggy Boy Hug's Caddy record label for this group known as the Lonely Guys. Now, prior to this release, this group was known as Chuck Daniels and the Downbeats, and they do a nice version of this song. You all know this song, best known by the Jaguars on the RJL record label, which I haven't played here for a while, but that's a song that many people do know. And I'm talking about the song The Way You Look Tonight. This isn't a common version of the song, but it's a different version that I like. It's out in California. Dick Huggy Boy Hugs Caddy record label, 1960. Give a listen to the Lonely Guys with their rendition of the tune The Way You Look Tonight.
Someday, when I'm feeling low and the world is cold, I will feel the glow just thinking of and the way you look tonight. The way you look tonight. You're lovely with your smile so warm and your cheeks so soft. There is nothing for me but to love and the way you look tonight. With these words your tenderness grows, tearing my fears apart, and the laugh that wrinkles your nose touches my foolish heart. You're lovely, never, never change. Keep that breathless charm, oh please arrange it, 'cause I love just the way you look tonight. The way you look
There you go. We'll send it out to George Tompkins. He loves that tune. That's a cover song by the Lonely Guys from 1960 on Dick Huggy Boy Hug's Caddy record label, The Way You Look Tonight. Big Dave, I was going to play a third Caddy release. I was going to play Johnny by the Dots. I was going to do that, but I didn't do it. I have it in the box to play, so stay tuned for that next week. Let's continue here. Let's move into 1961. Here's a request for Timothy. Now, Timothy, don't step away. You're going to miss your request. You did miss the Solitaires I played for you earlier, but the good thing is you can go back to the archive anytime you want and check it out. You definitely can do that, or you can go to vinyltreasures.net and you can stream or download the show there. But if you're new to the program, please subscribe. You'll get an email when I'm on if you subscribe, but you have to be signed in to YouTube. But this is, actually last week I played a request, or I thought it was a request for listener Timothy. He requested the Moodmakers, a song called Dream a Dream, which featured a lead singer, Ed Jordan. Ed Jordan, prior to this recording with the Moodmakers, he was the lead singer of the Five Delights. We heard a flip side earlier in the show when I opened up the show, but he wasn't on that lead. He was on the flip side. as I'm losing my mind for what the song was on the ballad. But Timothy also wanted to hear The Flip, which is a cool jump tune, and I think as well as Nick Nicola. But actually, this was the intended A-side. It's on Morty Craft's Bambi label. This was a number 44 record on KEEP in Twin Falls, Idaho. Wow. Anyway, from May 61, going out to Timothy, give a listen to The Mood Makers. The Mood Makers with Ed Jordan on lead on the Bambi label. It's called Dolores.
Oh, Dolores, I love you.
Oh, before yesterday, my heart, she went astray. Oh, you came my way and made life so gay. Dolores, I love you. What more could I say? My heart,
Whoa,
beats,
yes,
for you.
boom, boom. Oh, Dolores, I love you.
I never knew before I met you. My life was so dark. You gave a little spark. Dolores, I love you. What more could I say? My heart,
Whoa,
beats,
yes,
for you.
boom, boom, boom.
They say that you'll be mine, and in your little heart I can find a little place for me, 'cause I love you, yes, can't you see?
Oh, Dolores,
Hey, before yesterday, my heart, she went astray. You came my way and made life so gay. Dolores, I love you. What more could I say? My heart,
whoa,
beats,
yeah,
for you.
boom, boom. Oh, Dolores, I love you.
That's going out to Timothy. Also, we'll send it out to Nick Nicola. They're the Mood Makers. May 1961. Ed Jordan, he's the lead singer on that. Dolores is the name of the tune on the Bambi record label. That's when I was turning into collector shows as a young teenager. I would hear that record, both sides of that 45 on the air. And that one went on my want list. Let's continue here on Vinyl Treasures. And we go back to Los Angeles, California. This is a request for Emna. This group is called the Centennials. They initially recorded as the Cyclones on the Forward record label in 1959. Now, the lead singer on this is Jerome Evans Sr., who prior to this group was a member of Vernon Green and the Medallions. As the Cyclones, they became involved with George Mottola, who wrote this song and sold the master to Dot Records. And then they changed their name to the Centennials. Again, with Jerome Evans Sr. on lead. This is by request for Emnon, January 61. The Centennials on Dot. It's called My Dear One.
I'm sorry. If I broke your heart, forgive me. My, dear one. From above, you're the only one I'll ever love. My, dear one. Dear one. My, dear one.
January 61 release there. They're called the Centennials, going out to Amnon on the Dot record label. My Dear One is the name of that. And we stay in 1961. We head to Washington, D.C. with a request for Nick Nicola. This group first recorded as the Bobolinks on the Hi-Ho record label, then decided to change their name to the Memories. And this is the intended A-side of their 45, which came out on Wayne Bramble's Waylon record label. Now, the lead singer on this, his name is Robert Dove. This is going out to Nick from 1961. These are the Memories on Waylon, and this is the A-side. It's called Love Bells.
Love bells.
Love bells, ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ring-a-ling-a-ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a
love does ring out for you and I always want you in by my side. I love you, baby. Please come and be my guide. Be my guide. The church of ring. Come be my bride. I'll always want you. Please beside. I love you, baby. Please come and be my guide. Be my guide. Love does ring out for you and I always want you deep inside. I love you, baby. Please come and be my guide. Be my
As by request for Nick Nicola there, they're called The Memories, 1961. On the Waylon record label, Robert Dove on lead, Love Bells. Nick also requested the flip side. It's a nice ballad, so stay tuned for that for next week. That's Nick's request. Let's stay in 1961. We go out to Los Angeles, California for this girl group. This is their debut single from 1961. In 1962, they had two releases, I think, on Valiant Records. The same group. They recorded on Valiant, but this is a request for Mike Sape. Mike Sape requested this, and I have one more for Mike that I'm still looking for. I haven't found it yet, but this came out in November of 1961. They're called the Canon Sisters. It's on the Real Fine record label. I need a record on Real Fine Records. If somebody knows what that is, you can type it in the chat room. It's a good record on Real Fine. But anyway, the lead singer on this is a gal by the name of Dean Cannon, and they're singing about me, your Saturday night DJ. So this is by request for Mike Sape, November 61, the Canon Sisters on Real Fine. It was off-center, and I hope this record totally off-center, and it's a styrene press, and I tried to line it up right, but let's hope I did it right. The Canon Sisters on Real Fine. It's called Johnny.
Johnny, I'm so in love with you. Johnny, please tell me the truth. Johnny, please say you love me too.
November 61 release there for the Canon Sisters by request from Mike Sape on the Real Fine record label. Yes, I need the Superiors on Real Fine, a record that has eluded me for all these years here, but I'm going to pounce on a copy if I find it. But those are the Canon Sisters, song entitled Johnny. As we continue, here we are in 1961. We're going to finish soon, folks. And I'm guessing this next group is out of New York or New Jersey. It's got to be one of those, because this is a local group here, the tri-state area. They had 6 excellent releases on the Coral record label between 61 and 64. And this is their debut single, by the way. And this is a request for George Tompkins. He requested the Exotics. And I don't know anything else about this group, but they're the Exotics from May 61 on the Coral record label. It's going out to George. It's called Darling, I Want to Get Married. The Exotics.
I wanna of running around. Yes, 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 you know that I love you so, and love is all I need. Yes, yes, you know that I need you so, and love is all I need. Yes, yes, darling. Oh, let's get married. Yes, I'm tired of running
That's the debut single for the Exotics by request for George Tompkins, May 1961, the first of 6 on the Coral record banner. Darling, I Want to Get Married. Johnny G not getting married. That boat has sailed. Now, like I said, I think I talked about this subject. If I was going to have children, a different story. So I'll decide, I guess, one of my coworkers, he says, "You're a sinner." I'm not a sinner. I'm not. But anyway, let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, on last week's show, I played a request for Emnon by the Delphis on the Checkmate record label out of Detroit, Michigan. And prior to this release, they backed up artists like J.J. Barnes, Leon Peterson, and Mike Hanks. But this was their own release on the Checkmate label. And the group included Martha Reeves. I incorrectly said that she was on lead. She was not the lead singer of the group. The lead singer was Gloria Williamson. She was the lead singer. And last week, the side I played, or Amnon requested, was called I'll Let You Know. But Daryl requested the flip side. It's a wonderful ballad from October 1961. These are the Delphis. The Delphis on Checkmate, and it's called It Takes Two for Daryl.
It takes two people to argue about what's right or wrong. And the two hearts must be present to sing love's old sweet song. Two is a magic number that makes the world
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show by request for Darrell Letts, the Delphis, October 61, a song entitled It Takes Two on the Checkmate record label. Let's continue here. We are moving to 1962 now, and last week I played a request for Robert in Los Angeles by the Thorables. The Thorables, a combination of two groups, that being the Cadets and the Jacks, Cadets/Jacks and the Rocketeers, and they had two releases on the Titanic label. Last week I played Our Love Song for Robert. This week, Mike P. asked for the flip side. Actually, this is the intended A-side of the record, which is a novelty tune, up-tempo. It's got a cool sax break in it, and we're going to send it out to Mike P. This is late 62. These are the Thorables on Titanic. It's called Get That Bread.
I stepped into the kitchen, I stopped and I listened, I turned on the lights, and oh what a sight, a creepity, creepity, a hoopity, hoopity, a creepity, creepity, a hoopity, hoopity. The roaches was a-crawling on the water, having themselves a natural ballin'. I heard them say before I went to bed, child, we gonna get that bread. Get that bread, child, you know we gonna get that bread. We gonna get that bread, we gonna get that bread. Child, we're gonna get that bread. The roaches started scheming and conniving. Man, from what I saw, they wasn't jiving. The leader said to a roach he read, show us how to get that bread. Get that bread, won't you show us how to get that bread? We gonna get that bread, we gonna get that bread. Show us how to get that bread. Show me next to Mr. DDT. The roaches started running for the corner. When DDT, there was a goner. The leader said before he fell dead, child, it wasn't worth that bread. Worth that bread. Child, you know it wasn't worth that bread. It wasn't worth that bread. It wasn't worth that bread. Child, it wasn't worth that bread. It's a crying sin. All got done in ferocious sleep by Mr. DDT. A creepity, creepity, a hoopity, hoopity, 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 a creepity, creepity.
We'll send that one out also to Darrell Letts. I know he likes that kind of sound, and also to Mike P. Those are the Thorables, trying to sound like the Coasters. You know, the kind of that novelty sound. I was never really big with that, with the novelty type tunes like that, but it is a good, that had definitely a cool sax breaks in there. Thorables there from late 1962 on the Titanic label. Got That Bread is the name of the tune. Let's continue here, and this is a request for Ronnie Sherman. It was, Ronnie, nice to see you down at the record show here at the Marriott Hotel. I went to a record show last Sunday, and I was talking with Ronnie Sherman for a while, and he gave me the requests there at the show. He was planning, because he heard that I was going to be there, and I saw him. I forget whose table it was. I ended up buying 4 records. I really only needed to buy 1 of those 4, but it was okay. It wasn't the greatest, I would say, but it was kind of cool to look at some boxes of 45s. It definitely was cool talking to Ronnie. That is for sure. And he's a great guy, and he was showing me his books and records that he was looking for. And he had a book, I forget, I think it was a soul book. I think. I don't know. He showed it to me. He had things that he was looking for that he was missing. And he gave me his request list, and they're going to be coming up shortly here. And this is one of them. As we go to Chicago, this is a girl group. They first began recording as the Starlets on the PM label in 1961. But in 1962, a few of their masters were sold to the OK folks, and one of the results was this 45, and this is the B-side of their release. It features Danetta Boone, a.k.a. Liz Walker, on lead. As we go back to June of 1962 for Danetta and the Starlets. And this is going out to Ronnie Sherman by request on OK Records. The name of the full title is in parentheses. It says, We're Going Steady, close parentheses, You Belong to Me, from June 62 on OK. This is by request for Ronnie Sherman.
There'll be no walking in the park. There'll be no more kissing in the dark. Tell other girls we're going steady, and you belong to me. There'll be no calling on the phone when I'm not there. You'll be alone. Tell everyone you know we're going steady. You belong to me. Oh, darling, I'm yours, and you know you're mine. We love each other so. We've waited so long, and our love is so strong. Everybody's got to know there'll be no walking in the park. There'll be no more kissing in the dark. Tell other girls we're going steady, and you belong to me. And you belong to me. You belong to me.
June 62 release for Danetta and the Starlets by request for Ronnie Sherman on the OK record label. We're going steady, parentheses, You Belong to Me. And that features Danetta Boone on lead, a.k.a. Liz Walker. She is on lead. Let's continue here. 1962. Now on the November 20th, 2021 of a show, I featured Rose Morris and the Delighters on the Puff record label. A song called I Love the Life I Live, and I think it was Daryl Letts. He requested the flip side of Just Getting to It Now from November 20th till now, so we're going to send this one out to Daryl. It's on T.J. Fowler's Puff record label out of Detroit. He co-wrote and produced this song from 62. Let's give it a spin. Rose Morris and the Delighters on Puff Records. It's called It's No Secret for Daryl.
It's no secret what love can do. Can make you happy or make you blue. Can
That's going out to Darrellettes there. That is Rose Morris and the Delighters, 1962 release on the Puff record label. It's no secret. It's no secret that Johnny G plays only original vinyl 45s. You heard some pops in that styrene press. Well, what are you going to do? You know, you can't get everything in mint. I wish I could. But let's continue here. And here is Ronnie Sherman's other request. Actually, this a singer. He was the lead singer of the Prodigals in the late 1950s, a group out of Clarksburg, West Virginia. And of course, they had two releases on the Falcon and also on the Abner label. His name is Chuck Collins. But on this release, he changed his name. He changed it to Troy Paris. And this is on the Baronet record label. And this is a request for Ronnie Sherman. I think the Metallics are backing him up on this, though. The Metallics also recorded on the Baronet record label. But he goes by the name of Troy Parrish on here. His real name was Chuck Collins. This is from July 62, going out to Ronnie Sherman. The song is called Gloria.
Gloria, stop hurting me, 'cause I know that you know that I love you so. So many, many times I told you that I needed you. I'm not lying. Oh, Gloria, stop teasing me, 'cause I know that you know that I love you so, that I love you so.
As by request for Ronnie Sherman, July 62, Troy Parrish, a.k.a. Chuck Collins, on the Baronet record label, song entitled Gloria. Let's continue here. 3 more 45s to go before we sign off here. Here's a request for Tom Shaughnessy. We go back to the Bronx, New York, to the Tar Heel record label for this cover tune. This song originally done in 1953 by Kitty Callan. Kitty Callan did this originally, and this is a version by the Runarounds, a.k.a. Who were the Runarounds? The Regents. The Runarounds were the Regents. I think Guy Valeria is on lead here, if I'm not mistaken. But again, the Runarounds, a.k.a. the Regents, December 63, going out to Tom Shaughnessy on Tar Heel Records. We're going to wake everybody up with this song. The Runarounds with Are You Looking for a Sweetheart?
Looking for a sweetheart to give love a try. Looking for a sweetheart, well so am I. Are you looking for a sweetheart? For the chance to give love a try. If you're looking for a sweetheart, so am I. Looking for a sweetheart to give love a try. Looking
As going out to Tom Shaughnessy, December 63 released The Runarounds, a.k.a. The Regents, on the Tar Heel record label. Are you looking for a sweetheart? 2 more 45s to go before we sign off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We go to Reading, Pennsylvania for this next group, actually the B record label. This is a request for listener George Tompkins. The odd thing about this record, it was released in early 64, but it sounds much earlier than that. The lead singer on this is Raymond Edwards. He was the bass of the Silhouettes, and he joined a group called the Invictors on the B record label, which I played not too long ago, I think, for Nick Nicola. He requested that Bees on, I think he did. It's either George or Nick that requested that song. But anyway, that Invictors group turned into this group called the Termites, and this is from March of 64. That's the release date. It's on the B label, which is out of Reading, Pennsylvania, and it's a request for George Tompkins. Give a listen to the Termites with their tune called Give Me Your Heart.
Give me your heart. All I need is you. I am sure that love will see me through. Oh,
Yes, George, that is a 5 keys ending for sure. That's by request for George Tompkins. March 64 release there. Those are the Termites on the B record label, Give Me Your Heart. Well, thank you all for tuning in to the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. And if you have any requests, you can send them to me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. And if you have want to talk about the music or whatever, send me your phone number. I love talking to collectors, talking to people that love the music. I have no problem with that. I'll have more time after May 6th, that is for sure, but that's my final work date. Got to drive into Newark and bring my PC back there. That's when they said they want it. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I'll be back next Saturday night at 10 o'clock for more 50s and early 60s out of my collection and more of your requests. So tell your friends, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not done that yet. And also want to thank those tuning in on the Oldies and More Radio Network. I'll be back on Monday night. Those of you that are into the 1960s, Monday from 8 to 11 p.m. on Oldies and More Radio, also right here on YouTube. You can see all those cool 60s 45s out of my collection. Got to work on a couple of Warren's requests. I didn't get back to him. I got to find them, though. But anyway, thank you all. Thank you, Charlene, again for your help, as I couldn't do the show without Charlene. She is a godsend to me to help me do this Labor of Love that I do every Saturday and every Monday night. We're going to close the show tonight actually with a flip side from last week. I featured the Jackie and the Starlighters for listener Cheryl Morgan. The song was called I'll Burn Your Letters. That was the name of the tune. It was from May 1963 on the Mascot record label. We're going to close with the flip side. I think it was Nick Nicola that requested the flip side of this. And it's Jackie and the Starlights, and this charted number 17 on WAAT out of Trenton, New Jersey. Our closer is from Jackie and the Starlights from May 63 on the Mascot label, Walking from School. Yes. That's the final. Thank you all tonight for tuning in tonight and sticking with the show. It's late. Time to go. We're going to be moving the show up an hour as soon as I retire. That's going to be the game plan to do it, so it won't be this late. But thank you all for tuning in tonight. Everybody have a safe and happy week, and I'll see you either Monday or next Saturday right here on YouTube or Oldies and More Radio. Just want to say, everybody, so long. Jackie and the Starlights.
Boom, 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 do 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 do. Walking down the avenue,
looking good, girl.
Wonder who could she be?
What's your name now?
Who could she be? Walking from school
with your books, girl.
Sweetheart, you look so cool.
Yes, you do now.
Wish I could be your fool.
Be your fool now, girl.
Walking from school.
Don't graduate, 'cause I've got a year more to go. I know it sounds sort of selfish of me, but darling, I love you so, and you're just
walking from school.
Yes, you are now.
Sweetheart, you look so cool.
Looking good now.
Wish I could be your fool.
I'd be your fool, girl.
Walking from school.
Keep on walking, keep right on walking now.
Walking from school.
Keep right on walking, I keep right on walking now.
Okay, folks, that's going to do it for the Vinyl Treasure Show. I'll show you these two records here. I don't think this is an easy record to find. Give Me Your Heart by the Termites. Reed, do you have this record here on B? It's not that easy on the B record label. And this one here, I think this is one of the harder ones to find by Jackie and the Starlights on Mascot. Walking from Stool is styrene. So, but anyway, there you go. All right, folks, everybody, take care. And JohnnyG's got to go relax. I'll see some of you on Monday, if not next Saturday night. Take care.